Hello everybody, Lawrence Fleming here again. I am 3/4 of the way through my 12-mile hike, and I've stopped at a little resting spot. Let's see, I want to recognize the troop for building a bench for me to sit on. Are you getting tired of waiting on the Lord? Well, the only reason we're tired is too many people have tried to predict the rapture. And I keep telling you, you can't predict it. There's no definition for it. There's no timing for it. You can't link it to anything. It is tied to Satan. Now, it's one of two events, and the timing on them is fairly close because they're right next to each other in the Bible, and I'll look at them in a little bit. But at some point in time, Satan casts a third of his angels to the earth. He probably comes with them to oversee what he's going to do, which means he's getting ready to do something. But we're still here, and so that would be a good reason for the rapture to get us out of the way, because he's going to be ready to do some damage. He has tried to kill Christians and Jews all along. He's tried to kill God's people all along. You know, he tells Joseph off. He will kill Cain. He tries to kill him in World War II, the most recent attempt. And now, when he comes down to earth, he's going to want to kill everybody. So I think that's the reason for the rapture. Now, if it's not that time, because there's some debate on when that actually happens, then it's going to be, where it's talked about right after it, the war in heaven where he's kicked out. That'll leave him really fit to be tied, so one of the two. All right, let's take a look at the Bible. And first off, I'm going to deal with this from 2 points of view. One, it is very hard to sit and wait for something when you don't know when it's going to happen. A watch pot never boils, but time flies when you're having fun. So there's the two dichotomies there. If you're busy, you won't notice the time going by. So I'm going to take you to Matthew 16:24. And Jesus said to his disciples, "If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what is it to profit for a man if he gains the whole world but loses his own soul?" So, if we are to get busy doing things, then we will be able to get by this time. I still think it's this year because there's got a bunch of stuff that's just pending, that's just waiting to break. And I think that this is still the year for it. But it may still be further out. There's some calculations on how much of the 7 years has already gone by, because some of it may have occurred during the time of Jesus. And that's a possibility. Prophecy is prophecy, and sometimes we can interpret it wrong, and then once it's interpreted wrong, that ball gets carried by everybody for years and generations, and it's wrong until somebody has the guts to come up and challenge it. So, turn with me to Revelation 12. Now, the first part you should already know, because we already know about this. Now, a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. Then, being with child, she cried out in labor and in pain to give birth. Okay. That's the Revelation 12 sign that happened on September something on 2017. I forget the date now, but September of 2017. We saw that. It was in the stars. Okay, verse 3, another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great fiery red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 diadems on the head. And his tail drew down a third of the stars of heaven and threw them to earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was ready to give birth, to devour her child as soon as it was born. Okay. Some say that's in the future, some say that was Jesus. It's prophecy. It's not important to argue about that part. But right after that, in verse 7, and a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But they did not prevail, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was cast out, the serpent of old called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay, so if he was cast to the earth, he is going to be fit to be tied. Heaven is a nice place. There's no denying that. We're going to get it down here eventually, don't worry, but we're going to also get up there before they bring it down here. But heaven is a nice place. It's got air conditioning. There's no fire up in heaven. That's down in hell. So he's not going to like that. It's sort of like the president being kicked out of the White House. He's not going to like that. So whatever happens, if he comes down here either with a third of his angels or with the remainder and himself with them, he's going to be mad. And that would be a good time for a rapture to get us out of here. Because you know he'd lash out. And it's like, what's God going to do to me now? I'm not in heaven anymore. I'm just going to go, I'm not going to even listen to him. I'm just going to go start killing. Well, that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to start helping with the wrath of God at the end. But he's going to try to get us first. So that's what I think it's going to be. So could that be this fall? It's possible. Maybe I can give you a time of day. It says in the Bible that it happens at night through day. Well, the only way for it to do that, if it's in the twinkling of an eye, is that if it happens at night in Jerusalem, on that side of the hemisphere, on this side, it'll be daytime. So we might have it happen in the daytime, not at night. Jerusalem time is everything in the Bible. Okay, I had some trouble yesterday getting my file uploaded, so this is going to be short. And I don't know how much longer I can come back to this park, but I'm going to be here for at least another 10 days. After that, I'm going to probably leave the area. Lord willing, I mean, if he wants me to be here, I'll be here. I may still look into the satellite dish. I might have to activate my Patreon account for that. I do have one that I created a couple years ago for my trekking across the United States, which I never got to do because of COVID. But I might activate that and use that. Everybody contributed maybe $5 or $10. That would be enough to get a satellite dish. And then what I'm currently making will pay for the account, so that'd be good. So I'm working that out with God right now. I don't like taking money. I really don't. I get that from my father. He lived and worked around many rich people. And I saw him all the time. They'd try to take him out to dinner and he'd pick up his own tab. He didn't want them paying for anything, and I got that ingrained in me. So I'll see what I can do. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to keep these shorter, down to maybe 10 or 15 minutes, just because I'm having such a hard time. Besides, there's not a whole lot going on right now. We're waiting to see what's going to happen in the United States. The Supreme Court seems to be turning on the left, and they don't like it. They may escalate things a little bit faster. We'll see what happens. They don't like the Constitution. They don't like the Supreme Court. There may be some things happening here. Russia's been giving ultimatums to the United States, but we seem to be ignoring it. So apparently the puppeteer has more power than Putin in this world. That's all I can figure. I don't know who the puppeteer is, but he's pretty big and he's pretty powerful. He might be the Antichrist in the background somewhere, I don't know. The Antichrist has to be alive if we're in the end times. But whether he's up in front or whether he's in the back and we just don't know who he is, don't know. All right, I'm going to end this here because I got to finish my hike back. I'm probably going to fall asleep after my shower. And we'll try again tomorrow. Everybody take care of one another. That's our job. Love God, love your neighbor. Pray for me in this ministry and that I get back safely. See you in the clouds. Oh, and subscribe and like this video. If you're watching it now, you should be liking it. It costs you nothing. You don't even have to be a member of the page to like it. But if you subscribe, you'll be a member of the page. The more people I get on here, the more views I can get. The more people I can reach. So help out. See you in the clouds. God bless.